Hello everyone, and let's get back to our series titled Where Did Shadow of Revan Go Wrong? Now we're going to go to part 3, which is PVE. Now PVE was really poor in this game. I mean, the biggest problem, we'll start with the first problem with PVE and we'll get to the biggest problem, but the first problem was hard mode flashpoints. When we're talking about PVE, we talk about progression. We're not going to talk about tacticals because they don't really belong on the progression curve, I don't think, to be honest with you. Do tacticals really? They're just kind of for people who want to see the flashpoint content in a group. They're just kind of casual content. We'll talk about the meaty side of PvE, and that is, of course, the hard mode flashpoints, which, when the expansion launched, they were dead on arrival. They were DOA, those hard mode flashpoints. The problem was not the difficulty. I don't think it was the difficulty that was the problem. It was the difficulty versus the reward. Because you got 184 gear, which was useless. Absolutely useless. 184 gear was a waste of time for killing bosses. Bosses that were tough at the time. Bear in mind, they're not that difficult right now. But those bosses were really, really tough at the time. Those hard mode flashpoint bosses were difficult, and to get 2 basic comms plus a piece of 184 gear wasn't worth it. They just were not worth doing. Not worth wiping on. Not worth putting up with groups. They just were a waste of time. Complete waste of time. And then there was the bonus boss, which the bonus bosses were the toughest bosses there for most of them. And what did the bonus bosses give you at expansion launch? 200 credits. 200 credits, not 2,000, 200 credits, and 2 basic comms. Nobody did the bonus bosses. Everyone did the bonus bosses like the first couple of days and then went, this is shit, we're never doing the bonus bosses again. Now this was patched. They did patch it so that all bosses would drop elite comms and the bonus boss would drop a Masashi Mark II piece. The final boss did drop a Masashi Mark II piece, which was decent at the time, but really, we didn't want basic comms. If you really wanted basic comms for gearing up for operations, just do dailies. Much more efficient to just do Yavin dailies. Do Yavin, do Section X, do, you know, all the dailies in the game, and you're gonna get more basic comms for doing less work, essentially. So nobody bothered with HM flashpoints. Nobody bothered after about a week. The curiosity and the challenge wore away fairly quickly, and then we're like, these aren't worth it. We're not being rewarded, and it's still the same today, even with the elite comms, which are useless these days. Elite comms, totally useless. Ultimate comms, they've added ultimate comms since 2.2, still useless, really. Most of us who've moved on to operations and have moved on to story mode and hard mode operations, we don't want elite comms. Those who are doing story mode operations want ultimate comms, because, you know, the gear is slightly better. But then those of us who are progressing to hard mode, nah, we happy in our resurrected gear. Then we moved on to story mode operations. Now, I'm going to say it, story mode operations were too hard. They were too hard. Bear in mind where we came from. Just bear in mind where we were. 2.0, Dread Fortress, Dread Palace for 14 months. We'd become complacent. A lot of groups had become complacent, and basically when you did 16-man operations in 2.0, there was an assumption, they were tuned around the assumption that not everyone was going to be fully optimized, not everyone was going to be fully geared, and not everyone was going to pull their weight. You could argue maybe 10 out of the 16 people had to be competent. Both tanks generally had to be competent. 2 out of the 4 healers generally had to know the tactics and know when to cleanse and things like that. That was fine. And about maybe 5 or 6 of the DPS. The rest you could just carry. You could carry those people. And a lot of the other big problem with Dread Fortress and Dread Palace was a lot of mechanics were ignored. You know, Califaris, everybody goes left at the first thing just because people can't kill ads quickly enough. Brontes as well was another one. Brontes we had to we missed the first droid. As a healer, I always hated that. It's like, just kill the first droid. You try that in hard mode, it's a wipe. Because if the lightning hits the droid, it just wipes the raid. You know, so it was kind of redundant in story mode having that tactic. A lot of tactics were ignored. Same with Grobthok. Tactics were ignored. And again, in 3.0, which was actually quite a good change if you think about it, we had operations where tactics could not be ignored. Okay? You couldn't ignore the ads on Underlurker or the Cross, or you would just die. You know, it would just kill you. You know, you couldn't ignore... what can we ignore? Bulow, the ads on Bulow as well, they had to be dealt with. You know, Torque, again, if you had like the Sick of You debuff, and you can just ignore the droids on 8-man, but on 16-man you couldn't ignore the droids. You know, Master and Blaster as well, there was tactics that you couldn't ignore. Coratini had things that you couldn't ignore. You couldn't ignore the hostage situation one, where he took you one of your party members hostage and you'd kill them. So, you know, there was tactics there that would wipe groups, whereas there was nothing apart from really Dread Council, really, and that was about it that could cause wipes. Dread Council is where you had wipes, really, in pug groups. That was the only fight when we did pug groups back then. So we went from a really easy, really sort of noob-friendly, really casual-friendly operations to these really sort of hardcore tuned things that everyone needed to know tactics, everyone needed to be geared, everyone needed to be fully optimized, fully augmented, just to clear ops. Bolster didn't help us, and they put 16-man in Group Finder. Now 16-man was ridiculously overtuned. It was insanely stupid. Torque 16-man, whoever designed that fight should be fired from BioWare. Really, it's just a poorly designed fight. A small room, 16 people. Come on, in this game engine. Underlurker was bugged at the beginning, okay? You could fail the cross. You could fail the cross 4 times and do it. You could succeed at the cross and it would kill somebody. You know, it just didn't matter. And whether you failed or whether you succeeded in the cross when the expansion launched was, you know, who knew? Who really knew? Everyone was standing in the right place. Red cross. Some people aren't standing in the right place. Green cross. Huh. Get a red cross, no one dies. Get a green cross, someone dies. Get an orange cross, for whatever reason. You know, it was weird Underlurker. It was so many random elements that they introduced. And that was one of the other problems, was the random elements into operations. It felt like it just took away skill for me. I just felt like I want a test of skill, not a test of luck. Like, we're progressing through Underlurker HM at the moment. And, you know, when we do that, if the rocks spawn too far away, we wipe. Because we don't have a sentinel. Don't have a sentinel there. And, you know, if those rocks spawn too far away from your group, and one person dies, it's a wipe. Okay, that's just RNG. You have to execute the mechanics perfectly for Lurker HM, and hope that the RNG hope is a tactic. It's a legitimate tactic in PVE nowadays, is you just gotta hope that the luck is with you. Same with Sword Squadron. Oh, what's the matter? You stuck a red circle and you stuck a green circle on me and put a red circle under me? Fuck off. Or the bomb carrier gets a white circle and then there's a red circle under them. Bomb carrier dies. You're not gonna heal through all that as well. It's just like, fuck off. Just complete fucking lunacy that can just screw you. Just screw you out of the kill. I hate the random elements. I hope that raids designed next year, because we're not getting raids this year, just getting the same old shit again, are going to be better. We need less random elements and less AoE. Every single fight as well was just AoE, 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 AoE. I get that they gave the healers a bunch of AoE healing, and most of the time as a healer, it just became a bit like World of Warcraft healing, and I didn't like healing in World of Warcraft. I did a bit of healing towards the end of Mists of Pandaria and Siege of Orgrimmar, and it was just like constant damage going out on everyone. And I just like, it just felt like you were playing a DPS. You know, you're playing a DPS, just playing whack-a-mole with health bars. Really, I want something better. Dread Fortress, Dread Palace had better things. You had things to cleanse. You had, you know, things. TFB had a cool mechanic, which is in the Colossal Monolith as well. If you healed the person who had the curse, it was in Colossal Monolith, I think it was Leech as well. If you healed that person, they would die. That was kind of funny as well in those operations. But yeah, I just felt like we're just whack-a-mole with health bars. That's it. That's healing in 3.0. Really, you're just sitting there, press your buttons. It's a quick time event. Just whoever can press the most buttons gets the most healing done. And it was kind of annoying and kind of really annoying. As if they just didn't know what to do with healers, didn't know what to do with tanks. And it was like, you know, oh, what can we do? We've run out of ideas. Let's just circles on the ground everywhere. Because if you look at 3 of the fights, 3 out of the 5 fights in Ravagers, they have broadly the same tactics. Bulow, Torque, Master Blaster. All of them have circles, okay? Same with Sword Squadron. Sword Squadron's a bit different at least, you know, but Bulow avoids circles. Yeah, you could take the ads into circles as well. You could do things with the Mass Barrage, lots of circles. Torque has fire, which is represented by circles now. Don't stand in circles, and Master and Blaster is just circles again. Circles that you need to get out of. There's the carpet bomb thing that goes out, which is just it's a rectangle, but it's still a shape that we have to get out of. You know, want something interesting. Triangles, maybe put triangles in the next expansion. You know, it was really annoying to have this kind of thing. It was just felt lack of originality really in these fights. 3 fights being the same. Avoid circles. Sword Squadron, at least you had like the bombing run at least, and you always got the white grenade. Whoever got was the bomber was always the one with the white grenade. Or, you know, you were just about to channel your Master Strike or something like that, and oh, I've got a red circle under me. And it was always, same with as a Scoundrel Healer, it was always just as I had my finger over the key for Underworld Medicine. I was just about to press it, and it was never at the end of the Underworld Medicine channel. It was always when I just pressed it. I'd been channeling it for 0.3 of a second. Fuck a red circle. Fuck you. As if to say fuck you. It's never at the end of the channel, isn't it? It's never right at the end. Because if it was the end, you just let it run and then jump out of it. You know, just get out of it. But no, always right at the beginning. Just to fuck you over. Just because they fucking hate you. They just, BioWare just saying, fuck you. We know you're about to channel Underworld Medicine. You've set everything up. You've got your bedside manner. You've got your crit. Your auto crit's there. The tanks took a bit of damage. You're going to press Underworld Medicine. Here's a red circle. Fuck you. Fuck you. That tank is going to die. And it's like, I hate that. The amount of times that happened in HM doing that boss was so annoying. And of course, tank comes around. Where's my heal? It's like, yeah, had a big heal ready to go. Of course, when you get back to it, you have to put up your bedside manner again, and of course your auto crit's gone probably, and you know, bedside manners wore off, so you're like, fuck, can't I just do good healing? You know, can't I just be a good healer in that fight as a Scoundrel Healer? Don't do it as a Scoundrel Healer, that's my advice. Don't do Sword Squadron. Pick a Sage, pick a Commando. But I did manage to down it though. We have managed to down it. I think I might put that as the background video for this this rant really about 3.0. But then again, hard mode ops should be hard. I think hopefully patch 3.3 will come and just say fuck it, let's nerf everything. Hopefully it'll come, because the next expansion's coming. I'm hopeful that this probably will go up, maybe on the day 3.3 comes out. I don't know when actually, because I'm recording on the Friday, but we've got a bunch of other stuff to upload, so this is going up, probably go up on the Tuesday actually when 3.3 comes out. So hopefully they'll just nerf everything, although they are changing all the healers, so it'll probably ruin the rest of our progression. Probably have to gear up new healers again. So looking forward to that. They changed the healers. Why are they changing it this late in the expansion's life cycle when we're gonna have, you know, no healers? There's no reason to be a healer in 4.0 because it's story driven anyway. So that's a little rant about 4.0 over. So yeah, there we go. PVE, hard mode flashpoints, pointless. Story mode operations, too hard. That's my conclusion. Hard mode ops, I'm fine with the difficulty. I expect to wipe. It's a different mentality you go into when you're doing hard mode as opposed to story mode, and you see that pugs quit after one wipe. And if you're going to go into these operations in story mode and going to quit after one wipe, do yourself a favour and never ever go into pugs again. Okay, you're going to have to be prepared. Be prepared to wipe in these story mode ops in this tier. And that's the thing, is players' attitudes to pugs. They just want the loot, they just want the comms, they just want whatever. You know, maybe we should have story mode group finder where you just get comms and you don't get any loot, but they make it face roll easy, kind of like LFR and WoW. You know, where you just get your comms and see you later. Just a tourist mode, something like that. Maybe that may be the solution. But anyway, thank you for joining me for this video, and we'll see you again soon. And goodbye.